And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on another Wednesday Live. And as you can see, I have the myth, the legend, the man himself, Bear McQueen, on this week's live. Stay tuned because we got a lot of cool stuff to show you. Just so you know, right off the rip. So if you're starting off watching this video and you want to know, should you hang around? I mean, just you should hang around just in general. But we're going to talk about growth. We're going to share some stories about our personal growth and how we met and the impact we've been able to make together. And as you know, in every live, we like to show you a little nugget, a little piece of technology that we could show you to make your life easier, editing reels and things like that. So stick around in today's live as we get into it. And just like that, baby, that's the intro. B, what's up? I'm excited for this one today.
I'm
How you
on
doing?
my Swedish fish vibes today. You feel
This
me?
guy did not just put out the Swedish fish,
Yeah,
bro.
it was just one of them days. It was just feeling like a Swedish fish day. You feel me? But what's good, man? I missed y'all last week, man. I was doing a mind travel last week, and my spaceship did not land in time to bring me back to the live. But an angel held it down. But I'm back like we never left.
You're back like we never left. Man, I love it. So you know how we always start these things. It's just like, how's your week been? Has it been heavy? What kind of stuff has been going on? Let's catch the people up because this is the Wednesday, the midweek hump that we get over to the other side, to the end of the week. How's it been going, man?
Um, I feel like I'm still in this vacation limbo. I ain't gonna lie.
Really?
Like it's just this weird, like yeah, Christmas came, but then New Year's was right behind it, and it
Mm.
was like this dead space. And then I found out everybody was off for Martin Luther King on Monday, so it was just like this weird.
Well, the corporate people were off on Monday, so
Yeah, I can't speak. I was off because my wife told me she was off, so I was like, "Oh, I'm off too."
oh,
Cool,
all do right. And I
but
feel you.
we still had a big reach meeting, so
Oh, that was good actually.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
you
We
know,
got some new people inside of Big Reach. You guys have you've been posting, you guys have been following. So if you follow Big Reach PR, and if you don't, go follow Big Reach PR. You get to see the new team members that are coming on board. We are a diverse group of people. And I feel like we approach business in a very different and unique way. So that's definitely a story for you guys to follow. Um, let's jump right into it, man. Like I know we talk a lot about this. We brush on the surface. Sometimes when we meet people, we tell them right off the bat that we met in the DM, right? So I feel like people don't really understand the importance of it and like how critical that was for both of us in our journeys when we met, and then what have you we been able to do from that point on and forward, right? So I don't know if you want to start us off. How did it feel when I hit you up in the DM? And you know what was that like?
I mean, to be honest, man, not to be cocky, man, I get a lot of DMs in general, right? Um,
Well, especially on Frame by Da Vinci, because that's where I hit you up at. Like I didn't even
Correct.
hit you up on the normal one.
Yeah, so like what I've been able to do with Frame by Da Vinci is it's almost like a community in itself that just like what I do or like my photography or like the community aspect, but I feel like people feel like I'm connected to South Florida.
Mm.
So when Pexels reached out to me, um, their ambassador for Florida is based in Orlando. So they were trying to come and do something in Miami, but they're not familiar with here. So it's like, okay, we want to do a Pexels meetup, but who's making moves in the city that we know if they say they're a part of it, it's going to bring people out. Um, and I just, for me, I just be in it sometimes and don't realize the impact or that people will really follow what I do or that I have some form of influence in the photography for community. So they reached out. It was like, yo, this is going to be a Pexels event, but this is a Da Vinci event. Like, just put it like it's powered by Pexels, right? We're gonna have giveaways, and we're gonna give away some camera straps and some T-shirts and some swag bags, and but you just bring your community out. And I'm like, well, this only works if I can handpick the models, right? So I had Selena come out, I had Therm come out, I had Payola, some people that I'm familiar with, and like, look, man, I'm doing this thing with Pexels, man. I appreciate if you show up for me. Man, this thing was, it must have been 100 people showed up to this thing. And I was just like, wow. And it was like we had the backing of Virginia Key Beach. So Virginia Key Beach pretty much gave us the lay of the land. Like, look, this beach is for you guys to use, but they gave us like a history lesson on like, this was the first beach that black people could only go to. So you get a lot of history. So it made it a little bit more special than just a photo meet, right? Because now we got the actual beach walking us to different locations to shoot where nobody is, that nobody else has access to. We shot on the merry-go-round and we shot at the little houses, and it was a vibe. So what I learned from that was, man, people really like me and I could really bring people out. So when you slid in the DMs, I was kind of on a high from that. But you saw it. So when you
Yeah, I mean,
reached out to me, go ahead.
for me, like on the other side of the fence, as they say, right? Everyone always says like the grass is greener on the other side. You're always looking at people on social media, and you kind of like are comparing yourself to the work that they're putting out there, right? Um, Little did I know back then that that's like half the battle, right? That's only like 10% of the real work. Those are the highlight reels that you see on social media. But I was sitting there at the studio. I had just come off of a 3 month closure. Like I had closed the studio completely down just
Mm,
because the system that I had been implying wasn't working. It was causing a lot of bottlenecks. It was causing me to take over like 3 or 4 days to edit videos. I originally opened up the studio with the backing of a YouTube channel. My father's YouTube channel became monetized, and we took that money, the extra money that we had left over after paying expenses and stuff, and we invested it into the studio. And long story short, after dealing with partners not being able to meet their agreements and all that good stuff, I'll tell you guys that story later and how I overcame that. But I was sitting there, and I had gone through having a bunch of people come through the studio because I knew the process. I know that if you were to relocate right now and go to a new country or new state, you kind of already know what you have to do to establish your brand, to start making relationships, start networking and stuff like that. And I was doing a lot of like studio work for free just because I was trying to figure out the system. And I had the liberty of doing it because of the funds were coming from the monetization of a YouTube channel. So this one day I got into the studio. I had just finished cleaning everything, and I just sat there and I thought, and I was like, yeah, like the studio's running, and yeah, the overhead's being covered, but I didn't feel the vision was being met. Like I felt like I was just doing transactional business. I wasn't impacting the community in the way that I wanted to impact it. And I was just scrolling through social media and I ran across that Pexels event. And I'm sitting here like it reminded me of back in the day. I used to do this thing called photo walks. Like, a lot of people do it, but I would
yeah.
meet up with a couple of my friends that were at work, and we all kind of love photography, and we just meet somewhere and go walk around like the city and just take pictures. Like it reminded me of that. And I was like, man, you know what? Like I'm tired of just sitting on my ass about this. I'm gonna send the DM to this guy and just gonna see what happens, right? And I knew the etiquette, like I had preemptively because I had already been in sales at that point for like 15 plus years. I was like, I already know that I need to lead with why. I need to make sure that I give him some benefits and features, and then give the ask for the sale, as they say, right? Um, so the structure was very simple. I was like, I peeped out your stuff. I like what you're doing. I want to do something like that. I want you on board. How much does it cost for you to be on board with this project, and when can you meet? Like it was just like long DM into a very short outline. I hit send and I just forgot about it, right? I don't know how long it took you, honestly, now thinking back. I don't know how long it took you to reply back, but you replied back and you were like, yeah, let's meet up. And you came to the studio. I shared the vision with you, what I wanted to do, and you were like, "Yeah, let's do something. Let's see what we could do." And I feel like that's what really
Mhm.
kicked off that the first step down a road that I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just wanted to try it. Um, there were so many things that happened around planning and executing that first event that I would love to like expand on and have a whole live around like that one event and what we did and the decisions we made and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like we got what we wanted out of each other. We were able to see, could we work together? We were able to see our work ethic, communication, were we able to follow through? And all of that checked off. Like I look back, I saved that picture and I have it in my phone as a favorite. Every time I want to just be reminded of where I started in this whole journey with you, I go into my photo album and I hit the favorites and I see that picture. And I'm just like, this is what we're doing it for. Like this. Do you remember how packed that room was? Like it was crazy.
I remember walking in there that day.
Oh yeah,
I had a do-rag line in my head that whole day.
yeah.
I had my do-rag too tight.
I didn't even notice it, bro.
So when I put the camera on myself and Nadia and Brooke, all you see is this line, like I had a part down the middle
That
of my
line
head.
going, you know?
Yeah,
Bro, but there was so much cool stuff that came from it. I want you to see a video of me reflecting on that. After this was recent at the Miami Art Week, we were hanging around at the Graffiti Museum with Nucleus Hub, and they had a little station there, and they prepared a little reel. Don't mind the music. I know that YouTube's gonna go crazy for the monetization. Whatever, YouTube, deal with it. But yeah, and then I want your honest like reactions to this. This is gonna be like a little different than normal lives. I want you to react to this. So here we go. That's like the shortest relationship that I've been able to build and actually do really good like work in the community. So he pulled me out from behind the camera, started teaching me some tips, you know, of what to do. And I've always wanted to do like have bigger impacts, have bigger community impacts with not just the studio, but with also public speaking, maybe inspiring and motivating people. And I feel like along that journey, just being able to like put my ego to the side a bit and just like experience it and put myself out there. I feel like the joy I most have is when I hear someone articulate a vision that I've had and they've internalized it and made it their own without them even knowing. So that was obviously after a question where Anthony asked me, what do I feel like the most reward from, like when I see people? And I had to tell the backstory of you pulling me out from behind the camera. Not that I wasn't behind, like I had stepped out, but I quickly stepped back in behind because I was just like, this is too much, man. This is way too much work. But yeah, I don't want to steal the limelight. What's your reaction to that video? How do you feel now watching that after we just said the story?
I mean, for me, it's just like, I mean, you said a lot, right? So it's like most people not gonna be that honest, right? Most people not gonna be that vulnerable, and then most people not gonna take no action. I don't care who they get advice from. It takes a different type of person to receive some information and then really actually act on it. Because most people's favorite line is, "Nah, man, you right. I hear you," but they not really listening. They hear you all right, but it don't register sometimes. And that's most times it don't register. So I think maybe you probably either was at a space that you was just like, look, man, what could it hurt? Like, what could it really hurt if I just try? It's not gonna put me no further behind where I'm at right now. So like, what could be on the other side of that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yo, I always tell you, man, Angel's the perfect case study. So if you guys even know who Angel is, that's a testament of the work he put in. I can't make people put work in at all. If you say, you know what, Barry, man, I see what it's doing for you, but I'm busy. I get it.
Yeah.
Life be life, and like we say, but okay.
From that story, you always ask, and I think you asked it a couple of times on different shows, where you're like, what made you listen to me? Right. Mm-hmm. I want to flip that question and I want to say, what made you keep giving the advice? Like you just said, you're like, I've been giving this advice till I'm blue in the face. I've been giving advice to my closest friends, my closest family. No one had been listening. Like, what made you still keep giving advice? What makes you still keep advice till this day? Like, because you
You
still
ever
do it.
see, you ever seen that meme of it's like it's the ground and there's two rabbits digging, and at the top, one rabbit's carrot has this big stalk and this big thing growing out the ground, but it's this big underneath. The carrot is this big,
I haven't
and
seen
then
it, but I can imagine it.
and then the other guy, the stalk on the ground from the surface level is this big, but his carrot is huge. And at the bottom of this, they're both digging with these pickaxes. And the one guy who gives up, his carrot is the big carrot. But if he would have just pushed through one more time, he would have got to the big carrot. But he turned around. He gave up too soon. So I always feel like when I'm giving people advice, like maybe this could be the one last time that might register. And I don't want to give up too soon. So I just be like, you know what? I'm beating a dead horse. It's like what I told you. What's me saying it one more time gonna hurt?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just gonna be one added to the bucket that they didn't listen again, or this could be the one. So it may be a culmination of like maybe when I say it this time, this might be the right time because some other force happened that it clicked today, right?
Yeah.
It was something happened during the day, and then something else happened during the day, and then this one time of me saying it, all of those things together made it click today. So it's like, yo, let's just put it out there one more time, and then it's always one more time, and I just keep doing it. I don't know why.
I feel like
Insanity.
also I feel like sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. So I feel like the more you continue to share your message, it's similar to like what I said in that video where I'm like, I get blown away by when someone captures a vision that I've had, internalizes it, and then spits it back out in their own way. And then you're just like, damn, that seed grew.
Yeah,
Like, look at that, you know?
yeah.
It's like it feels it's like a proud dad moment. I feel like you feel like that
Well,
idea
I
now.
feel like that, like at any Save the Creative event,
Mm,
because it's so much anxiety leading up to the day of. But it's like that when that day happens and you see all of these kids just, it's like you just let them into an amusement park and nobody paid to get in and they get to ride as many rides for free. It's no line. And you just see them, man. It's like a playground for them. I never shoot at our workshops. And some of those sets, I'd be like, damn, I would actually want to shoot that.
yeah, me
I
too.
get more joy in seeing these guys get creative and be in a world. And it's like, you know what? All the anxiety every month and all the other stuff, like this is what we do it for. Like that means a lot to those people who don't maybe have the opportunity or don't have the money. They can't rent a space. Like
Mhm.
we don't get every space for free. Sometimes I had to pay for the last space, right?
Yeah,
Discounted. Shout out to Natalie for looking out, but that's money out of my pocket that we won't see that back. You know, we got
yeah.
to buy drinks and feed them and chips and
Chips.
yeah, like so it's a lot that goes into like doing that. But I don't feel bad about it. Like I don't go to like, damn, I gotta go buy these kids chips and Gatorades and waters. Like they should have ate before they came. Like, nah, I'm happy to do it.
It's like a different. You're doing it for a different purpose, and I feel like just like how you say you hate planning events. Um,
Yeah.
I also share that with you, but I go through like this emotional, like, damn, like I got to do this, I got to do that. Like it's an added pressure in between the life
Yeah.
that we be living, right? But then when you get there, I feel like it's magical. I feel like as you walk up to the location, whatever location the Save the Creatives event is at, it always amazes me. The challenges that we go through with the triggers, the like different cameras that people bring, and sometimes they don't know the settings that they have the external flash turned off, and then we got a YouTube stuff right then and there, or Google it or whatever. Like
Yeah.
there's so many different things that come up that I feel like we overcome. We do problem solving very quick on the spot, and then we see people that have wanted to grow in their photography and then we see the result and we see the expression on their face. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm the first to get gassed. Like I'll see Mitchell. Mitchell was doing some bokeh stuff with the tree on the last event that
Yeah.
just made like the lights behind it look real dope, like a Christmas kind of joint.
Yeah.
And I walked by and I saw this picture and I was just like, damn, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Like impressed, genuinely impressed.
Yeah.
So honestly, it fills my bucket every time. It's so stressful. I know it, and it's so hard to do. More for you than it is for me because I just show up and talk. You kind of just you do all the other stuff.
You know, I think people don't understand. Anybody who puts events together has this bubble gut feeling the day of an event because of the preparation that goes into it. But in the back of your mind, you are still waiting for that first person to show up to let you know you're not crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the feeling. It's like, oh, all right, that's one. Okay,
You know who
okay.
didn't show up
Two.
this time?
Oh,
Um, he messaged us.
Rav?
Uh, was it Alejandro?
Yeah.
He didn't show up.
Well, he didn't show up because I told him if you don't RSVP, you can't
Oh,
get in.
oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he didn't RSVP. We only did 15 slots this time.
We got to get the slots. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was already too many people there
Yeah, that was packed, man. That
yeah
was packed.
for the space. So
I mean, if anybody's watching these videos and you have a space and you would like to donate it to Save the Creatives, it's a 501c. Shameless plug. We could give you a form that says that you've donated this amount of value, so
yeah,
you
I'll
could
give
write
them a
those
business
off.
tax receipt and they can
Business
tell me
tax.
what it would have cost if they actually we paid for the space and I'll give them a tax receipt for that cost.
Amazing. So I feel like in 2024 we're gonna get a lot of different locations. We're scouting for some stuff too. You never know what might come this year. But yeah, let's shift gears into some growth stuff. So I know I got an opportunity, a privilege to hear your story, like the deep, deep, deep story of Baron McQueen, and not a lot of people. You haven't shared this at all. Like a lot of the
No.
pointers that we talked about on that day, you haven't shared. But I feel like I want to tease people a little bit.
Okay.
It's the internal person in me, but everyone that sees you gets to see this highlight reel of you.
Mm.
Sometimes they get to see you with people that they want to be with, right? And then all of a sudden they see you post this thing and then they're like blowing up your DMs and all this good stuff, right? I feel like inadvertently, without you even knowing, because we're showing our successes and our wins on social media,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people feel like that's all you receive. And that's why you are who you are.
Mm.
But there's so much that goes into the hard moments, the struggles, the tiring, sleepless nights to still wake up the next day and do it all over again. And I feel like I want to just talk about, like, let's see if I'll share one of mine, you can share one of yours. Just what do you feel like what was one of those most memorable struggles that you went through that made you who you are, that looking back you're like, that's the reason I'm this successful where I am now. Like,
I I think the highlight reel is bad, honestly. Um, but if you asked me this question before 2018, I would have a very different answer for you because I
mm,
had a very stable job that was paying me 60,000 a year and it was covering my bills and I was cool. But in my mind, I knew I was outgrowing the company. So if I feel like I'm outgrowing the company, well, the only other logical step for me is like, hey, how do I become a percentage owner in this company based off the value that I bring? Is that even an option? And I knew it wasn't an option. So I just waited my time and I was like, you know what? I got all this vacation saved up. I wanted to make sure I stayed long enough to cover 3 years of showing W-2 so I can buy my house. Everything was planned out in my life. Everything, I plan everything out because I don't just move off emotions. I move off plan and strategy. From the time I moved here to Florida to, I mean, now granted, I had a plan coming here And it blew up in my face as soon as I got here. And the whole plan, as they say, went to shit. I was doing loss prevention in Delaware. So when I came to Florida, I thought I already had a loss prevention job here lined up, that my manager was just going to transfer me here to Florida. So even though that wasn't my main job, that was just a part-time, it was something to get started here in Florida. Well, my manager hated me so much because I always used to tell him what a shitty manager he was, because he took over from a manager who originally hired me. He didn't like me because he wanted to bring his own people in from another store. But I was the best in the district, so you can't get rid of the best in the district in loss prevention. But he hated me. And when I got to Florida, I met with the people at Kmart. And I was like, hey, Baron McQueen, I'm from the Delaware store. I just wanted to come and introduce myself and just kind of work through like when would I be starting and la da 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 da. And the guy looked at me like I had 5 heads, bro. And he's like, I don't mean to be rude. Who are you and you're from where and what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm Baron McQueen, loss prevention supervisor from this store number in Delaware. My manager told me they already sent my transfer stuff to be coming to this store because I relocated. And he's like, no, we never received anything for you. We wish we knew you was coming because we just filled that position last week. And this is somebody that we have to train. We would have loved to just plug somebody in that already knew, but no, unfortunately, I'm sorry. And I'm like, wow, I got no plan. I ain't got no job, no money. I got money saved up to pay my bills, but that's it. And I'm just like, man, he was like, man, let me call around and see if it's some other Kmarts. Man, they offered me a Kmart that was in Lake Park. I lived in West Palm. It was 30 minutes in Lake Park. And they only was paying me for 20 hours a week. So my first check, bro, was like $70.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, this is not going to work. This is not going to work here in Florida. Yeah. But like people don't know all.
And that was 20. That was 20.
That's 2013.
Ooh, that's not good.
2013.
Not around that time.
So I moved here September 7th, 2013, with a car full of sneakers and a laptop, and thinking I got a job when I get here.
Yeah.
And then get smacked right in the face. I'm like, wow, okay. So I ended up going on Craigslist, finding this job. This lady's like, we're going to pay you for this training. You can open up your own store, a lot of that. It was a whole Ponzi scheme, bro, of people that was selling bootleg perfumes and colognes.
An MLM kind of situation?
Bro, it was just like, these are what they call rendition colognes and perfumes. So they'd be like,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah. It'll be in a regular bottle. And they say, hey, see, smell that. That's Calvin Klein, basically. So I did this for 4 days, bro. And I was like, ma'am, can I ask you, what part is it to where you get to open a store? Because that's what I was brought here for. She's like, oh, no, we're going to teach you this strategy. And then you'll be able to do this on your own and be an entrepreneur. And I'm like, oh, no. So I've been doing what I thought was paid training for the next 4 days. 8 hours a day, we're learning about rendition perfumes, why they better than the real deal, why they better for the environment. I'm like, yo, I cannot go back to Delaware. And this is my introduction to being in Florida, bro, like trying to make it. So what happened?
You could have easily just like hopped on a plane and you're like bounce.
Yeah. But see, I'm in the stage that I'm about to retire out of music. Ooh. So I don't know what the next thing is because I'm used to a very fast life. Yeah. So, I'm like, you know what? I got to do what I know works. I start networking with the DJ. Shout out to my guy, DJ Brand, who is Meek Mill's DJ. He's like, yo, B, Maybach Music is having a party at Rick Ross' house. You my folks, come pull up. This is Maybach Music weekend. So I went from really, really low to back where I'm used to just going to Rick Ross' house, right? And then what happens? You meet the guy that he's the club promoter. at this event. He's like, yo, man, I don't know what you're doing with the music, but man, you want to really make some money. The money out here in Miami is in the nightlife. You got to be a party promoter. That's how you start, and then you work your way up. You could get one night a week. Once you get a night, then you could get a week, and then you could get a weekend. And I'm just like, no. Because this is not pulling me away from the nightlife. This is putting me
you right back in. Yeah.
Right back in. And I'm just like, nah, this is all bad. So I'm like looking at my money dwindling. A whole month went by, still can't find a job. And I'm going to the library to fill out job applications on, at the time, monster.com was the site.
Oh, wow. On the library computer?
On the library computer, because I didn't have internet at my apartment. At the library computer, I'm on monster.com and I'm on snagajob.com, right?
Snag a job.
Snag a job.
Woo! That's old.
This lady at the library says to me, she says, excuse me, sir, I noticed you've been coming in here for the past 3 weeks. You sit on the computer. And what are you doing? I said, man, I'm trying to find a job. But every time I come here, it's costing me money because I have to pay for parking downtown City of West Palm. She was like, well, I want to let you know, if you go right down on Military Trail, there's a library and the parking is included. That lady changed my life because it was costing me $10 a day to look for a job.
Wow.
To the point, bro, I could be very candid since we being very candid. By the time I finally got a real job in Florida, I was down to maybe $150 left in my bank account, bro.
Make or break it.
It's make or break, bro.
You were make or break.
It's make or break, bro. It was. I had stacked up enough to pay my bills for 2 months, right? And I didn't have major bills. My rent was $625. I had a car payment. I think maybe it was like $400. Car insurance, cell phones, little utilities, and that was it. So I was just like, yo, I had enough for that for 2-3 months, but that money was going quick with gas and paying for parking and Sun Pass, stuff I knew nothing about moving here, and sales tax. What is sales tax? We didn't have this in Delaware. If y'all go to the Dollar Tree, it's $1.
That's right.
What do you mean it's $1.07? So this is all new to me. And I went to this thing and the guy was like, yo, won't you stop going on Monster and snag a job? Because what those people do is they advertise for a job and they won't reach back out till a month later after they get a certain amount of candidates. If you need a job right now, you need to go on Craigslist because these people who need somebody tomorrow. And I'm like, shoot, I went on Craigslist. All the jobs I seen, nightclub bouncer.
Back to the
yeah, I'm like, and they
can't get away from this,
bro. They was paying $200 a night, so I'm like, man, I'm looking at my girl like, yo, man, your boy might be in my nightclub bouncer, $200 a night. You know what I mean? 3 nights a week, that's $600 cash. And I see this job for permit runner from a window company. Well, anybody knows me, my background was civil engineering back in Delaware. When I moved here, civil engineering firms wasn't even hiring. So I was like, oh, man, all I got to do is just drop permits off at the county. This is cake. Boom, sent my resume, and my resume stacked. 13 years, civil engineering, University of Delaware. Like, you don't want nobody take me in this. Like, I'm way overqualified to be dropping permits off. Let's be clear. Sent it over. In 10 minutes, this guy called me. That I had to step out the library to take the call because I was still in the library when he called. He's like, yo, can you interview tomorrow? I'm like, oh, shoot. Yes, I could do it today if you want. He's like, no, come tomorrow. Go, kill the interview. Mind you, I've only had one other job. This is my first real job interview. I've never been on a job interview. I got picked up right out of high school as an engineer, so hit it off with the guy. He was like, look, man, I got one person that I got an interview on Friday that came highly recommended, but I like you. But just keep a lookout, man. If you don't hear back from me by Friday, then we probably moved on. I'm like, all right, man, well, keep me posted. That dude called me an hour later and was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with my gut instinct. I'm not even gonna see that person on Friday. Can you start tomorrow? I don't know if you ever seen the movie with Will Smith, Pursuit of
Yeah,
Happiness,
yeah.
bro. That's me.
How's the same feeling?
That's me, bro. To make 48,000 a year, that's me. And
That's
I'm just like,
crazy.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill it when I get to this window company, bro. The first day I show up, nice shirt, my bow tie, black slacks. I get there and they say, hey, when you come in, ask to speak to a guy named Edwin. I'm like, all right, cool. I come in there, I'm like, hey, Edwin, I'm new, Baron, just relocated here from Delaware. They told me you're gonna give me my first assignment. I'm supposed to be doing permit running. And he looked at me up and down and looked at my outfit. He was like, he just laughing. Edwin's from Colombia. He's from Bogota, right? So he got one of them laughs. And I'm like, yo, what's funny? He's like, yeah, I got your first job for you. I just don't think you really dressed for the role. I'm like, bro, I'm dressed sharp. Like, I'm about to go to the county sharp. He's like, no, we just had a delivery truck just pull up from Barranquilla, Colombia. I need you to help unload these sliding glass doors. Bro, I never dressed up for work ever again.
Yeah, again.
I'm like, yo, if you've never unloaded a truck from a trailer, inside the trailer is the most hottest piece of metal you will ever be in. And I'm not taking out windows like single homes. I'm taking out sliders that's like for penthouse, all floor to ceiling glass. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be in shape working here. Like my whole outfit's messed up. I done tore my shoes because a slider done ripped on my shoe, fell on my shoe. The worst experience, bro. And I worked there for 6 years.
Damn.
Till I couldn't take it no more. But that story is the like, I thought I was good there. I came here with nothing. So 48,000 sounded amazing. And then I was like, oh man. Then I worked my way up to, now I'm making 60,000 a year. And then I'm like, well, what's the next position from here? They're like, oh, this is it. You're the director. So there's no another role other than the owner. I'm like, so how do I make more money? They're like, oh, sell more windows. I'm like, nah, no thank you. I was out of there.
But the thing I love the most about that story is the perseverance. Like you could very easily at any point in that story you could have easily quit. But you just kept pushing through. And it's almost like you have to have the same blind faith in the fact that you're going to show up to work tomorrow, you're going to kill it, or you're going to learn from yesterday and do better the next day to try to climb this corporate ladder to then be like, okay, well, this is the top. No, this is not. Like you're not accepting that in your life. So you decided to take that perseverance, that resilience, that determination to keep pushing to say, let me create a new ceiling for myself. And you jumped. And we always talk about this. We could do it on another live, but you always talk about the fact you might have jumped a little too early, but it's all good.
This is what I got. What people gotta understand though is when you say that, I moved out at 17, right? I didn't have nothing to go back to in Delaware at all. I mean, maybe one thing I could have been like, call my mom and ask my mom, could I stay with her?
Yeah.
But I'm about to be 30, bro. I moved out at 17. So from 17 to 30, I haven't lived with my mom. We haven't had that relationship where I'm going to pull up and stay the night. I left at 17. So that was never an option for me. I would have been on Military Trail on Okeechobee Road with a sign saying, we'll wash windows before I would have went back to Delaware, bro.
You've been a handyman.
I would have been spinning signs for the barbershop. I would have been doing anything. I was not going back to Delaware. That was just not in the cards for me.
Like that was not an option at all.
No.
Nice.
I'd have been homeless before I moved back.
A lot of people feel like you just hearing you tell that story, they may feel like, oh, you came from nothing, you didn't have anything, you had $100 left in your bank account, you were able to land a job, that paid $48,000 a year, and you're like, yo, this is amazing. This is the life. Like you said it yourself. You're like, you put on your bow tie, you put on your fancy clothes, and you maybe at the moment felt that you made it. But looking at it backwards, connecting the dot backwards, right? It's a little bit different perspective, right? So like I feel like there's always these, like, I compare it to games. You always get to the boss level, you beat the boss, and then there's always another boss waiting. There's always another level waiting. So no matter how hard you work at this game, and I call the entrepreneurship life a game because you got to gamify the system. You go through it, you learn something, you achieve something. Maybe you've saved enough money. Maybe you earned enough gross income per year in your business, or maybe you have the fancy things, the fancy house and the fancy cars and all that good stuff. But there's always another challenge waiting right around the corner. Right around the corner. When you feel the most excitement, you're like, yeah, I made it. I have the studio. Yes. Right around the corner was another challenge. It's like, oh yeah, you got the studio, all right. Now do something with it.
Yeah.
make some money with it. Now build a team. Oh, really? Now you got a team? Oh, what about your impact? What are you gonna do now? Right? So there's always something that you have to continue to push through. So I feel like building all these foundational behaviors, experiences, and perspective that you have really sets you up for success in the future without you even knowing. Like you don't even know how important those moments are sometimes.
I think one of the best pieces of advice somebody gave me, shout out my guy Kyle Dendy, he was on my podcast, and we talked about just how 2020 affected our business when it came to the COVID thing, because he was teaching people how to get on stages, right? So he was running big ads and he was doing millions a year selling his courses and his ClickFunnels. And then he's in a space where he's teaching you how to get on stage, but COVID's happened. Ain't nobody gonna be on those stages.
Nobody trying to get you on stage.
Yeah. So, but what he told me that really hit home, he was like, Baron, in this entrepreneurship thing, it's good that we've figured out a way to make some money, but a true entrepreneur is somebody who can do it more than one time. Like, how many times can you start a business from scratch and make it successful? That's the real entrepreneurs. And when they said that, I was like, damn, man, if I look at what I've done, like I tell people, I'm $10 away from $1 million idea. Because if I could get that first $10, now I've already proven there's a need for what I have. It only takes $10 to convince me, and I'm all in. That's it. A road to $1 million from 10, bro.
So I know if I sit at the negotiation table with you, I'm gonna bring a $10 bill. Here you go.
But that's it, right? Think about, like, this is something that you thought of in your mind. You put all of this effort in, like, oh man, I got a logo. Okay, now I got my website up. When you make that first sale, first of all, you ain't even recouped the money that you spent up front. If the first sale is $10 or $20, right?
If you put a money value on the time alone, you're in the red for a long time.
But that feeling of getting that first sale is addicting.
Yeah. No, wholeheartedly.
It's addicting.
It is. It definitely is. Speaking, I don't want to shift gears too much, but we're heading into the last 15 minutes. And if anyone stuck around through the story that Baron walked us through, it was an amazing story. I feel like you should go back, rewatch it a couple of times, learn some of those things, learn from his mistakes or his struggles and what he was able to overcome. But if you're here this late in this live, we have to share a treat. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned from you in the time that I've known you, which hasn't been too long, by the way, guys. It's only been about a year and a half. It always blew my mind how it felt like you had like 9 arms. Like it always feels like you have like octopus arms and shit.
Yeah.
Like we end up going to events, recording footage, and you're infamous by this, or no, I shouldn't say infamous, but you're famously known for pulling out one of your 3 phones and recording some video footage, and then all of a sudden making a magical reel, and you're like, how'd you record that? This was my phone. That's all I did, right? But what really
king of the template.
Right? King of the templates. Well, what really, really blew me away was your podcast workflow. So I've had the privilege of recording Everyday Game Changers, and I used to see you record it. I would send it over to you. You would do a couple little edits, like throwing lower thirds or anything in there, but you would have the reels already edited. You would have the cover image already edited, and everything looking so nice and smooth. And granted, you would be releasing every week, like on a Sunday, but it was so efficient. It was so seamless. It seemed like magic until the one day where I was just like, you know what, I'm going to put out my own stuff. And I started recording it, but I quickly saw the struggle in not having the cover image correctly done or not having the reels done on time. And it reminded me of, it gave me PTSD of back when I used to do the YouTube stuff for my family vacations, of how hard it was to edit and actually put this content out consistently. So I asked you, I was like, what the hell is it that you do? And you're like, bro, I make a template. I have it already set up.
Yeah.
And I feel like people need to see it. So today I want to pop open video.ai. And this was one of the ones we found. Mind you, everything I've said up until this point, Baron would do manually. Meaning he would put into Sony Vega some video editor on the PC because that's how he edits, cut it all up, look at the time code, find the place where he should cut it, make the reel. How did you do the captions? Did you just put them on?
This is what I tell people. If you make podcasts and you don't go back and watch your episodes, shame on you before you release them. What I would do is I would sit and listen to my episodes. And anytime I heard something I liked and was of value, I wrote the time codes down.
Oh.
So when I got it in the Sony Vegas, I knew right where my cuts needed to be to get my 1 minute and 30 seconds that Instagram allows. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He went too long on that one. Maybe I can chop that and put that in another reel. But I had my 130s already chopped out so that when I went into video, video was giving me 75 minutes free a month. Well, if I'm doing only 1 minute and 30 each video, I wasn't chewing up none of the time. And was
because you were submitting the cuts. I was submitting the cuts, not the whole video.
No, I wasn't letting video go and chop it for me unless it was a virtual.
Nice.
My virtual ones I would let video do, but the benefit to my virtuals is because I was using the free version of Zoom, I would never go over 75 minutes. I'm at 40 minutes cap.
So would it always be below?
So I never paid for it. I'm still cheap, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't pay for it either. We use the free account with the 75 minute limit. The beauty about this is that it's evolved since we started to use it.
Yes.
So one thing that I really love the most about it is all the AI features that they've added inside. Granted, it still takes a long time to process the video. So if you submit a full, like what Baron was saying, if you submit a complete 45-minute video or a 75-minute video, it's going to take a little hot minute, and then you have to come back, maybe go get some food, come back, you'll get an email saying when it's done. But once it's done, you get to see this page here where it'll show you all the different shorts that I was able to pull out, and they've added these scores that you get here on the right side of the video. And with these scores it's like a virality score, right? What have you noticed be like just from choosing certain numbers versus other numbers? Do you feel like it's accurate? Like that's an accurate score? No, it's just like throwing a number out there?
No. That's their version of them acting like they doing you a service. And you like, oh, I gotta put the first one out first because they got an 85. But I encourage you to test the top one and test the bottom one and test one in the middle, and then go look at your analytics, and you'll be surprised.
And see which one actually did the best. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely encourage the same thing. One of the things I like to do is, like you said, watch it over. So I'll click on one of them and I'll hit play and just watch it and just see, like, does this resonate with me? Is this accurate? Like, is it really showing the power of self-development, or did AI just kind of pull that out of nowhere? This is the stuff that I was telling you about that they added the transcription
Mhm.
and also like the video timestamps. This is really cool. Like the video timestamps, it's a really cool feature inside of like YouTube videos where you could put those time codes inside of it, and it'll show up in the video with the little
But
title
don't YouTube
of
do
what
that
that section.
by
It,
itself?
it does it, but it doesn't break them up like that. So like
Mm,
you're able to upload a video into YouTube, you'll see the whole timeline of the video, but it won't show those little markers unless you've put in the time code inside of the description. So you actually have to put in that time code in order for that to show up inside of
really?
your videos. Yeah. Have on some of your videos, have you turned it on, the time code?
I want to see
Right.
one because I feel like I've seen that. Um,
Yeah, pull it up. Just check it out while we're here. This is the app time where we get to show y'all some value of different apps that we use. But as you look that up, I'm gonna just jump into the editing and download section. And this is where I feel like it has some real cool magic stuff happening. Specifically with Cut Magic. Cut Magic is a little feature that they have inside where you hit it, you enable it, and it will actually go through and do the cuts for you if multiple people were talking. So it'll try to find someone else in the conversation and do the split screen and all that good stuff. So that way you don't have to do any of that. It just does it for you. B, you found anything on the YouTube?
no, no, I
I'm
haven't
pretty sure
found.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so like in this video right now, there's not cut frames because I used the strategy that Baron was talking about, uploading the short videos. It also has like different ways for you to show your subtitles, and it also has adding auto emojis. So based on what you're saying, it'll go ahead and analyze the words and put in little emojis that you could come into this section where it says editor and actually change, modify, delete, whatever it is that you like, just so that it makes your video a little bit more engaging, I think. There's so
Yeah,
much more inside of here, man, but you guys really got to just jump in there and click around.
yeah, I
But big
found like the text that works for me. I found the color of the font that works for me because it has to all still match the brand. So if you ever
inside a
see,
video, right? You put that
correct.
inside of it.
So if
Yeah,
you
so I
ever
did the
see the
same
text that
thing.
I use, it's my color. I use the bangers text at about 15 font height.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that way it fits when you're posting a reel
Correct.
inside of your grid, right? So that actually the words can be seen as long in addition to the
Because if
picture.
you ever look at a reel, if you put that text too low, that's where
Then
all
you
your
get shot.
Instagram stats are.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is trial and error.
I dealt with the same thing when I put out a couple of videos that I still could change the cover on, which I'm gonna go back and do. But you immediately were like, you sent me a screenshot. You were like, "Look, the text is too far down. You can't see it inside the picture." So I was like, "All right, bet for the next one, I'm gonna make sure I change that." But yeah, man, like there's a bunch of stuff, not just video. We also use Canva. So I would say we use when we record a podcast, we obviously edit in our favorite editor. Then from there, we'll use video to do the reels, and we'll use Canva to do the cover images or even the thumbnail for the YouTube video. And there's one that if y'all want to do some conversions and compress, maybe your video is really big and video won't take it. Handbrake, if you Google Handbrake, it's an open source video converter program that'll convert the video and shrink it down without reducing any of the quality. So Handbrake, if you guys have a video that's too big, you need to compress it down, send it in. But the idea is that you figure out a workflow that's easy for you to follow. So then that way, when you create the content, you can actually deliver it out consistently to the public. With implementing your system, B, I've been able to record a lab, sit down, record the lab, stand from the session, edit it within 24 hours, have the reels already done, the cover already done, and already set the program. So today after the live, there's going to be a bonus lab coming out with King Tetris himself. So take a look on Pod the Lab. You'll get to see a new episode come out. Just like that, B. That's how fast your system is, man. You got to really put people on game. I would say make an
Just
ebook.
for me, it just was like, yo, I know how short people's attention spans are, so I needed to create it in a way that I had my reels and everything start being promoted after Wednesday because I used to drop episodes on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
So I would drop the Instagram reel story version of coming this week, and then I would create an actual cover for the podcast episode. So if you ever go through my podcast episodes on Spotify or Apple, every cover is different.
Yeah, I seen that.
It's not the same cover. It's me and my guest, right? So I had that version, and then I had another version of the reel. Now, when we started getting into the intros, the first reel people would see would be their intro. Hey, this is Frankie Mays. Just wrapped up another dope episode. Make sure when it comes out, you boom, and that's always the first reel.
I like that we added that to the show. That
Correct.
actually spiced
So
that.
that
up
was
a
just
little
like the warm up, right? And then by the time the episode drops, then I start dropping. Okay, this is one of the best ones from that conversation. So I'll drop that one and say, hey, the video is out, and here's the snippet. And then I drop a following video after that, and then the rest I would just feed in the stories until we get to next week to the next person.
I love it. As you know, as we come up to the end of the hour, we always want to set people up for the rest of the week. I forgot if this is like my turn, your turn, or whatever, but I don't know. Do you have something you want to share? Go.
Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, of course, man. The floor is yours. You hit the little button, right? Down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, just click it. Click your window. You see it? Oh, you're looking at your window. Let me click it. I'm going to click the window and you just look at the window, whatever you're navigating. There it is. It should be, I could see Miami is thriving. I'm looking at an article, discover the top rated PR agencies in Miami for 2024.
Now look at who this is written by. I want you to look at the URL.
I can't see that top bar. What's the URL say?
That's the only salientpr.com.
Okay.
Salient PR, let's go to the bottom of the article, is an Austin PR firm.
Yeah, I see it.
Right?
That's crazy.
And this is the power of SEO. So these people wrote an article. They're a PR agency based in Texas. They put out an article that says discover the top rated PR agencies in Miami for 2024.
Drum roll.
Number 1.
Oh, Ace of Spades Agency is number 1. That's shout out to our boy JJ.
Shout out my guy JJ from Ace of Spades Agency. Number 1, right?
Lipstick Royalty Agency. Love it. I don't know who they are. Boardroom PR. Oh, they're in Pines. 954. Or Broward. I don't know. The Dana Agency.
Now, these is all heavy hitters in PR. Like, been in it like
big accounts.
10 plus years.
Big accounts. Oh, no, they didn't. Big Reach PR. Top 5. How long has Big Reach PR been out?
Bro, from a digital footprint standpoint, less than a year.
Wow. If you say you can't build your brand, in a year, I don't know.
The reason that's crazy is because all I did was type Big Reach PR in Google because I like to see what is going on.
And stuff,
right? Yeah. No, just in general. Like when we put Big Reach in, what's the first things Google is showing us? So I do that. Just hold on. I'm gonna close my damn screen. Hold on. Let me bring you back up. You can see that, right?
You want me to put it back up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it now.
All right.
You put it in, the website comes up. There's no
I
ads
just put,
actually. There's no
no,
competing ads.
no. So when I type in Big Reach PR, this is what you need to be having show up for your business.
Mm.
Your LinkedIn, your
There's your
YouTube,
LinkedIn articles.
your
You talk a
website
lot
should
of,
always be the first thing that pops up.
yeah, digital real estate, right? You want to make sure that your website's gathering all that traffic.
Correct. Knowledge panel is over there, over here to the right, with the pictures, with the reviews, right? All of our socials is connected here on the bottom. But look at this. These LinkedIn articles that we write show up really high for SEO. So from a business standpoint, if you're not using LinkedIn's newsletter feature, you are really screwing up your SEO from a business standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Because
They
it ranks
also
really
say
high.
pictures rank well on LinkedIn. Pictures
100%.
with like text around what the picture is about or whatever.
Correct. So if you see, just typing in Big Reach PR, it's showing other people that work there stuff because our ranking is so high with the SEO. It's this LinkedIn, bro. LinkedIn is the cheat code. But I was doing that, and then I came across this other high-ranking article that somebody else wrote about us at the top of the year.
They're probably trying to capitalize on your SEO, the fact that you're doing so well.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here we is, just shouted out to Austin Tech. But look at this. Brooke showing up.
Brooke, Gia, everybody's in there.
Yeah.
I don't show up yet because I haven't put it in my LinkedIn profile.
But this is what I'm trying to explain to people. Yo, this is like, if you're not properly doing SEO for your stuff, you missing the boat.
Yeah.
So you're think about that. If you're somebody in the space and you see somebody good traffic, put it on your blog. Yo, top 10 taco trucks in Miami.
Here's one of them, right?
And somehow incorporate that back into what you do.
I feel like that's a good one to leave people with on a Wednesday. It's like, let's give them an actionable step, right? So it's like, oh, you don't have a website, you have all these excuses, whatever. But LinkedIn is free. You can go in and write an article inside of LinkedIn without having a website. And as you just saw, it'll rank really high. Do that. Do just that. That's it. Do that. Drop the mic. You're good to go.
That's it.
Right?
I made it a point that the end of 2023, I was going to take LinkedIn more serious. And I've just been diving into, wow, have I dropped the ball on LinkedIn?
Yeah. No,
for a really long time.
Me too. I thought it was just to get job.
Yeah.
But definitely it's not. Hey, man, we could go on and on. But as y'all seen, this was this week, Wednesday live. We will be back next week on Wednesday, 8 p.m. sharp. Come and hang out with us live. If not, watch the rewatch and learn some really cool information. If you got around to this end of the show and you're all at the hour and 4 minutes, okay, extra treat. DM Bear McQueen or DM Famous Angel. Let's talk. And we'll give you 15 minutes on our calendar. How about that? You got to the end of it. DM us. Let's talk. You'll get an extra treat. You down for it, B? 15-minute consult. We'll even make it live. And that, I put him on the spot. He's like, yo, people better not take me up on it.
All right, I'll be eating Swedish fish for 15 minutes listening to you complain about your business.
It was a pleasure hanging out with y'all. Another fun one. I will see y'all next week, all right? So peace.